Hello friends, and welcome to SermonLink on our Pal United Methodist Church YouTube channel. My name is Pastor Katya Broadbeck, and I'm an associate pastor here. Thanks so much for connecting with us for just this short video, a time to look at the passage that I will be preaching on this Sunday. And this passage, in fact, comes from chapter 20 of John's Gospel, verses 19 through 23. So why don't we read the passage and hear what it has to offer for us. On the evening of that first day of the week, when the disciples were together, with the doors locked for fear of the Jewish leaders, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." After he said this, he showed them his hands and side. The disciples were overjoyed when they saw the Lord. Again, Jesus said, "Peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, I am sending you." And with that, he breathed on them and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit. If you forgive anyone's sins, their sins are forgiven. If you do not forgive them, they are not forgiven." So I really would like to focus on the first part of this passage. And right off the bat, this context of the disciples sitting under the locked doors, it says, with doors locked for fear of the Jewish leaders, immediately connects us to our own situation. We're sitting under lockdown. We're sitting in our homes with our doors locked. And yes, I think there is some fear. Fear for contracting the virus and ended up in ICU, under ventilator. This is all pretty scary. Then there are fears of losing one's job, and I know some people already have or have been furloughed. And so there is fear of how we would provide for our families, how we continue life. There is fear of just when will this end and how life will look like after all of this. So there's certainly a connection right there from the very beginning of the passage to the situation where the disciples were and where we are. Of course, for the disciples, I don't think they really knew or believed that the resurrection happened. There was anxiety and fear of what's going to happen next. Their Lord, their God, is not there. The body is not there. What does that mean for them? And there's also fear of authorities, of the Jewish leaders. What's going to happen with them? Are they going to come and get them? So it is in this situation of fear, of anxiety, of trembling, that Jesus appears among them. So the doors were locked. I don't know about the window situation. So Jesus just came and stood among them and said, "Pooh." He just sort of appeared in front of them. And his very presence and his very words of "peace be with you," all of those must have been so relieving for the disciples to see the Lord's presence, to hear his words of encouragement, of giving peace to them, because they were so needing that peace. They were so needed that presence of God. And of course, it says that they were overjoyed when they saw the Lord. But you know, when I first read this passage, by the way, I have to say that I'm reading from NIV version. Quite frankly, I do not have an RSV version here in my home. I have a Message. I have all kinds of versions, but not an RSV. But this is what usually we work and read from in our worship, but I just want you to know that this is NIV, New Revised Standard Version. So I was reading it for the first time. I was thinking to myself, well, here I am, sitting in my home. What if Jesus came to me? What if Jesus came and appeared and stood right in front of me? What would happen? Would I recognize him? Would I be encouraged and receive this peace that he has to offer me? How would I react to that? So I think I want to leave us hanging here in this place. How would we react? What would we do if Jesus stood right among us, in front of us, of our eyes, saying these words of peace to us? Because now we know, of course, 2,000 years later, that Jesus is risen, that Jesus is living among our hearts by the way of Holy Spirit. And so how are we receiving this gift of peace? Are we receiving that presence of God that is with us? Are we recognizing it among us? It says he came and stood among them. So I think these are the questions for pondering that I am leaving with you. Those are good questions, and invite you to think about it, pray about them. And so until we see each other again, peace be with you, friends. Stay encouraged in faith, stay connected. Blessings. Bye-bye.